That year was I was an assistant fire chief working in Region 4 and covering Region 5. We had a fairly new assistant chief for Region 2 at the time, and been a slow year.
Just it seemed to be a typical day there at the office. Not a major disaster at that time that we were working on. And then I got a call.
The fire really erupted on a Sunday, and I know that there was NFL football going on, and I received a call from my chief at that time was Larry Buffalo, and he called me up and he says, you know, there's a huge plume going up from the East Bay. I think we might have a major fire going.
Take your car and drive out that way.
I will.
Now. Get out, go, 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 go! Go!
Within 15 minutes, Faith, the fire was right on top of every house in the neighborhood.
Go back down.
The column of smoke coming out of the Bay Area was nice, black and thick. You could tell it was already burning homes and some heavy fuels. And I came out of the tunnel. All you could see were the apartment complexes right there that were just fully involved. The fire had already jumped the highway. It was already burning south with the intensity.
It had to be a line of fire engines a mile long on the freeway, and they were parked there, so there was no real staging other than right there, and you had to get your information, intel, to find out where to go and where you can help.
And it was just surreal to see the East Bay, this residential area, up in flames, Highway 24 closed off, a command post was set up. Very smoky. Got out of my vehicle and went up to the command post.
People don't understand, they gotta leave their cars here. You go up and leave your cars and walk. All right? I work in the fire department. You want me to get some apartments right up 24?
Coming through the tunnel, of course, that was the first area, so that had kind of burnt down. And flamage and smoke were off in the distance.
As we went through the tunnel, just as we went through, a wall of heat hit us. Ash and debris was swirling around. The wind was so fierce. And what we saw, just as we came through the tunnel, was flames on both sides of Highway 24, and you wondered how the flames could have jumped over the freeway. There were flames on the right side, on the left side, on the eastbound direction that had been closed down.
You could tell this was big, along with all the equipment on the side of the road and then people evacuating. It was just major. It's just, it's so different from wildfires. You've got area to move, you've got area to escape, but in this type of situation, it jumped the freeway. It was on both sides of the freeway, so there was really no place to safely escape to it. And
I don't think people in Oakland were prepared. You know, they just weren't used to having a wildfire to that magnitude there. I mean, there have been fires in the Oakland Hills in the early 20s, in the Berkeley area, but not, you know, probably nobody around that could remember them. But you know, there were 25 lives lost during the Oakland Hills, including one police officer and one battalion chief with the Oakland City Fire Department. I think that gives you an indication. Even our first responders were overwhelmed.
At the height of the firestorm, you had a house burning down one every 11 seconds. It was it was quite an environment for law enforcement to be in.
Houses were burning, and a lot of the roofs that were there were shake roofs. The shakes were literally, full shakes were just being sucked off the houses that they burned and were burning in the air and were dropping nails out on the roads and on the highway. Emergency responders were getting flats, as well as people trying to leave the area.
Utter devastation, just ash. You could see chimneys as just it kind of rolled on these hills. One image I can remember shooting, once I got it back, it kind of caught me when I was looking through the viewfinder, but when I got it back, it definitely looked like a graveyard.
The sheer magnitude of that fire, the number of homes burnt, number of lives lost, the years that it took to rebuild. You know, it's one of those in your career, you know, some folks are, go, wow, if I make it one of those type of emergencies, my career is like a big wow. And unfortunately, here in the state, we have those type of emergencies too regularly due to our demographics and our geography. And Oakland Hills will always have a special place in my mind as a memory of the things we did, how well we did them, yet we could have still done a better job.
That was pretty remarkable to have a helicopter land on the freeway to pick me up, to then take off and view what had happened, and that's when the big picture came into play.
Who would have ever thought that they would have that kind of a devastating fire, 25 dead, near the Bay of San Francisco and Oakland?
It was even worse, in fact far worse than I had imagined, because before I got on the helicopter in Sacramento, I had been watching Bay Area television stations, and even though the coverage has been extraordinary, seeing it from the air, as you look down on it, you see these little hot spots, little squares that are just burning intensely. Those, of course, were the home.
That stands out to me as one of the unique disasters that I've responded to over my 28 years here with this agency.